Hi, my name is Keri Barnum. I am the Executive Director for New Shelves Books, and today we are here for Free Advice Friday, the hour every Friday we get together to talk about book marketing, publishing, and just the business of being an author. And we take questions live. You can join us at newshelves.com/FAF, or you can email your questions in advance to info at newshelves.com, and then you can watch the replays on YouTube, which is just youtube.com/newshelvesbooks. So we do have, excuse me, we do have some questions live that we'll jump into, and a couple of emailed questions as well. Let's see. Quick tech question. I found Find Away Voices in my spam folder after already getting emails from them. I noticed the last email was back in August. Do I whitelist them by adding them to my contact list? Anything else I have to do? Wendy, it depends on which email provider you're using, but yes, adding them to your contact list helps. Some email providers have like a safe option, like mark as not spam, or a whitelist that you can do. So those are all options. And I will say, I've noticed, I use Outlook, and I have noticed that whenever there are really big updates on Outlook, it seems to almost reset that. So people that I was getting emails from will all of a sudden start going to my junk folder. So just know if there's a really big update, that may be part of it. Let me see. All right, John, in your opinion, what is the most effective bidding strategy to get a book on the first page of an Amazon sponsored products ad? Good question, John. I think if you are really trying for that first search page, there's a couple of things you can do. Up your bid. I mean, honestly, that's obvious, is we want to up your bid so that you've got a higher bid to work with. But the other strategy is when you are looking at your keywords, yes, look at some really big comps. Look at those keywords that are like obvious. But also try looking for comps and keywords that are kind of middle of the line and maybe a little bit unknown. I think that if you can find a newer or smaller author that is doing well, that is promoting themselves a lot and getting their name out there, and you can use that as a comp, then you will actually benefit from everything they're doing for themselves. And that's a really great way to kind of get on the first page of a Amazon ad, but not pay as much, but you're still connecting your name to someone who's doing a lot to promote themselves, that's selling a lot of books. And that is smart ad strategy. And I think you kind of need tiers. You need those James Patterson keywords, and then you need those keywords from authors that are doing well but aren't James Patterson, and then you need the keywords of the indie author who maybe is starting out but really is doing a lot to promote themselves. And you need to kind of spice it up a little bit. Let me see. So that's what I would suggest. Again, your ad spend. And I will say right now, during the holidays, ad spend is crazy because everyone's doing ads. And keep in mind that you can run ads for all sorts of products, not just books. So ad spend is going to typically be higher right now. Your impressions may be higher or lower. You may not be winning as many bid strategies. So it just depends on your keywords and the traffic and how much you're willing to pay for all of that. A question that I got in by email was all about how to interact with groups online. If you are, because I've often said, if you are looking for kind of a place to get reviewers and betas and just a place to interact as an author, reader groups on Facebook are a really great way to do that. And when you are interacting, how do you do that? How do you start using those book groups in a way that will not get you kicked out for spamming them, but also in a way that is productive and doesn't take all your time? And so if whatever genre you're in, I recommend that you go on Facebook and you do some searches. If it's a cozy mystery reader group, because you write cozy mysteries, or maybe you write romance. Maybe it's historical romance. You go find a couple of reader groups there. If you search, I promise you'll find them. They range from like 100 people up to thousands of people. And the way that you interact with them is to be part of the group, to be a reader, to be someone who's making book recommendations, to be someone who is commenting when someone says, oh, hey, have you read the newest Diana Gabaldon book? What did you think? If you have, interact, because that is how you'll start to connect with people. I also personally love when I have author friends or indie authors that I work with, or that I've read their books and have loved their books. When people are asking for recommendations, I'll throw their books in the ring there. And oftentimes these reader groups will have posts that are specific for authors and promotion. They'll say, okay, Saturdays, you can post a link or a sale. Or if you have something really big coming out after you've been a part of the group, if you have something big coming out, often you can ask the admins if they would be willing to post about your new book launch. Or if you're allowed to ask permission for beta readers, that kind of thing. What's nice about it is literally a group of readers who read books like yours. So if you get permission to ask for beta readers and you're in a group of, I don't know, 20,000, then you're putting it out there to 20,000 readers who are your reader group. And even if they don't become beta readers, they know you're writing a book, they know to look you up. It still opens your market by quite a lot. So if you want to benefit from reader groups, you've got to first be a part of reader groups. And that does not mean spending hours and hours, but you need to actually interact and make recommendations and comment on things before you put an ask out there. You don't want to join a group and then start putting ask and start spamming with links and things. That will get you nowhere fast. Certainly not anywhere you want to be. And I've seen some really great success here, and you get some nice relationships from this, and you find betas that are used to your genre, so they know the tropes, they know what to look for, and they can be really super helpful. Let's see, beginning today and for a week, I'm putting my picture book on a 99-cent Amazon deal. What should I do to promote my book and drive traffic to it? I feel I should be doing something, or does Amazon do anything to promote it? Pat, when you do a promotion, Amazon doesn't really promote it. They may put a bar or a sticker on it that says lowest price in 90 days, or I think 30, lowest price. I don't know. I've seen it recently. It's like a red banner or sticker that says lowest price. And so they do that, but do they promote it? Not really. For children's books in particular, and pretty much any book that's cheap or free, Facebook ads can be effective, and you can get those up quickly. Thank you, Walt. Lowest price in 30 days is what it says. And it's a nice red banner. But so Facebook ads, but you need to have those up quickly. You need to make sure that you get that up as soon as that promo starts, and it should run all the way through. Doesn't have to spend a lot. If you're doing a week, you can do 10 bucks, 15 bucks. It's still driving readers there. Make sure that if you're doing Facebook ads, that you are targeting an audience. It's not enough just to say, hey, everyone on Facebook, go ahead and promote. Because what happens is you end up spending your money, but not spending your money effectively. So you really need to make sure that when you're promoting on Facebook in particular, that you create an audience, and the audience is fit for your book. And if you have multiple genres, you need multiple different audiences. Even if you have certain genres that are certain genres that maybe have an area like your normal series, and then you've got a Christmas holiday one. Well, you should have a specific audience for that Christmas book. That is how you target. You want to target in on your audience. You want to narrow in so that you can hit your audience and not spend so much money just kind of throwing noodles at the wall. And the best way, again, to do that is to really target in your audience, to make sure that you are being realistic with yourself. Many authors say, well, my book would be great for anyone. Anyone would love to read my book. And anyone may love your book. but that's not your audience. Your audience typically is going to have a 10 to 15-year age range for adult fiction or nonfiction. And for children's fiction, it's going to be even smaller. It's going to be typically a 2, maybe 3-year age range. But of course, then if you're doing children's fiction, you can also focus in on grandparents and parents, but you want to make sure that you're hitting parents of young children, not parents of teenagers. So again, you have to be careful with your demographics. You want to make sure that you're targeting in other things that are age appropriate. So if you're working with a preschool book, maybe you're looking at Sesame Street. If you've got a middle grade book, we don't need to promote to the Sesame Street audience. So you really need to get in the mind of your reader. What else do they do? Do they have other hobbies? What else might they be reading, watching? Do they have a Kindle reader? Are they more paperback people? Are they on Goodreads? These are all things that you need to think about when you're creating your audience for any ad. But certainly Facebook is something that you have these options, so you want to use them, and that is what will make your dollar go further. That is what will make the difference of $1 getting you, 10 clicks and possibly 10 sales, and $1 getting you 25 clicks and no sales, is making sure that you target in the audience appropriately. The other thing you can do, Pat, you can try Amazon ads. I'll say Amazon ads are fantastic for children's books, especially right now because everyone's they're buying gifts and things like that. But do keep in mind that when you're doing a ebook promo, not many people are going to be buying a picture book or a children's book in an ebook format. So you may get a lot of interesting clicks, but you may not necessarily get that ebook sale. In some cases, you'll promote your Kindle book for your children's book and end up with a hardcover or a paperback sale. So you do have to kind of see if it's worth it across the board. If you were scheduling in advance, anyone doing a discount promotion, if you are scheduling in advance, I always recommend that you pair that discount with some discount newsletters. BookBub is obviously the big one that you can try for, but you can also do the Fussy Librarian, Book Cave, Book Doggy, Book Gorilla, Robin's Reads. You can do Bargain Booksy or Free Booksy. There are a lot of newsletters that you can kind of use, and there are even some options that are free that you can submit for. So not everyone's chosen. And then you have your paid options. So having that option of kind of promoting further is smart. And just know Amazon does not promote your book for you. They allow you to discount it, but I mean, it kind of stops there. All right. Let me see. I know we had another question, and I also wanted to check out if anyone has seen any amazing Black Friday deals for authors. I've kind of seen a lot of emails, but I haven't, actually gone into anything. But I know a lot of places will do Black Friday deals for authors. We're actually looking at like Grammarly, I think, has done one before. Sometimes we'll see covers or promos, like the Fussy Librarian will sometimes do that. So be on the lookout. It's not something we typically think of with Black Friday deals, but there are certainly a lot that you'll see. Pro Writing Aid, I think, is discounted right now. Plotter, lots of them. So keep an eye out for all of those Black Friday deals. And if you have any great ones, let us know what they are. If you have a favorite software or anything that you use that we can look and see if it's on sale today, I would love that because we're always looking for sales. Let's see. Oh, look, and Tara's course, Book Launches Simplified, is 30% off today, which is awesome. The promo code for that for today is Black Friday 21 at checkout. That's, you know what, if you've got your own, sure. I know there's a lot of books. Maybe we'll do it in the Facebook group. I'll do a post and we can kind of put our Black Friday deals up. But I was specifically talking about not books, but kind of aids, writing things. Bowker very often will do ISBN discounts on around the holidays. All the good stuff. Let's see, writerstore.com is offering 50% off all webinars. That's awesome. See all the good things. And these are the things you don't think about. Everyone's out shopping for Christmas pajamas. And I'm like, yeah, but what kind of a writing software can I get today? Because that's more exciting for me. Although matching Christmas jammies, I'm trying to convince my whole family, mostly my husband, that we all need matching pajamas because we can get them for gift now too, and we can be those people. Brian Cohen does a deal today, Laura Manali. Yeah, awesome. So I will start a totally blanking out. I'm so tired, you guys. I will start a thread for that Free Advice Friday group so we can kind of put all that. And in that post, you can also put your book deals. If you are doing a book deal where you've discounted your book for the holidays or Black Friday, you can post it in there as well. So we'll kind of mix it in. All right. Question about what's happening with libraries. Eileen, I saw you on the side. Library promotion is still going on. We do promote libraries all the way through up until the holidays, not quite the last 2 weeks of December usually, because librarians take a lot of vacation days during that time, but we are still promoting to libraries. We have just changed how often we are promoting, and that is one of the things that we're changing in 2021 is as we go forward with library promotions. One of the things that we've gotten feedback from our librarian friends is we used to send out an email when we did our big library things, which they're very popular, and we do libraries and we do bookstores, and we used to do them quarterly, where we would use our sales contacts and buyer contacts, which we have thousands, and we would promote books to our library buyers and to our bookstore buyers. And this is a very popular promotion, but we previously were sending out an email letting our buyers know, then we were retargeting our list for people who didn't open and resending, and then we do a follow-up. So we did 3 emails kind of over the course of a month for our promotion. And as things have changed, as Apple has kind of changed how they allow people to track opens, as all of the rules for mailings have opened, and honestly, as libraries and bookstores have been shorter staffed and don't have as many people there, which means buying has been consolidated to one person. Usually it was not uncommon before where even in one bookstore, there's a nonfiction buyer and a fiction buyer and that kind of stuff. And it's really getting consolidated more and more into one person, or one person who's handling the list, and then it gets put out. So what we are doing after a lot of research, a lot of talking to our buyers, what we are rolling out in 2022, I'm very excited about, which is rather than doing these big monthly pushes where we follow up and do all this extra, where the retargeting now means that we were hitting the same people twice with the same email, which no one wants, right? That's annoying. So we are now going to be moving to our library emails are going to be 1 per week. So we're going to do Wednesdays. They're going to be less expensive because we're reaching out less. We're still getting in front of the same number of buyers. And we have actually been testing this out, and our open rate, excuse me, our open hour click rate has actually gone up. Because we asked our buyers what they wanted and we listened. And so we are starting to do weekly emails where we do 1 email weekly featuring a certain category. So we're breaking up into fiction, nonfiction, and juvenile fiction, children, young adult. And we've broken it up that way. We're featuring 10 books in the weekly mailing, and we've sent it out, and we're getting such great responses this way that the buyers like it better, that they like getting the weekly email, and they like getting the 1 book once. They're like, we don't need to follow up. If we're not clicking, if we're not buying, it's because we don't want it, not because we're not seeing it. And they said if there is follow-up, we'd rather see it months down the line when we've kind of had time to think about it, or that book has had time to get more reviews, that kind of thing. So we are moving our what was quarterly emails, which went out, they were quarterly and they went out for a month. We are changing our emails to where they are going out once a week, which means your email just gets one big blast. It is less expensive, which we also think will serve our market better so that you guys can get in and have the opportunity to pitch your books to our bookstore list and our library list, which again is thousands of buyers at less than half the cost of what it was before. So that's what's changing. We'll have an official like, hey, we're doing this sale for that soon. We haven't done it yet because again, we've been kind of testing it out. We wanted to make sure before we made any big changes that it is the best, that it's the best for you guys. And we, again, are getting such good feedback from both bookstores and libraries. Bookstores, we haven't really been reaching out to lately because we're so close to the holidays, but definitely for bookstores. And I am very excited about this moving forward because I think it's going to be awesome. So if I know I've had quite a few people who are like, hey, when's your next mailing? You said it was coming up, and it is. Our next mailing is coming up. If you have already signed up for a mailing, I've got news for you of how we've kind of used this new model while pairing it with the old model. And then for anyone coming up who's asked about our mailings for libraries and bookstores, keep an eye out. That is coming up soon. And anyone who has already emailed me, or if you're interested in a mailing for your book to libraries or bookstores, if you email me, I'm reaching out to those people first to give you first dibs on the list, because these have historically filled up really quickly, and we're taking fewer books now, but we're doing those mailings more often. So if you've already reached out to me, I will give you first dibs and your first option. Yeah, so Pat, the cost that we're looking at, our mailings used to run anywhere from $3.99 to $5.99, depending on the market. We have 3,000 indie bookstore buyers and over 7,000 library buyers. And so we were doing $3.99 to $5.99. In our new mailings, we are working on a price of $149, which is a lot. It's a lot more manageable, I think, for a lot of people. So $149 is what I'm looking at, and that will go either to libraries or bookstores, so that you can kind of reach out to those markets. And I'll be honest, when I look at books, I look to see, does this book fit the market? Because there are some books that I'm like, wow, you need to pitch to libraries. So libraries are your market. Bookstores are not going to buy your book. And there are some people where I'm like, your book absolutely would fit the bookstore market. I think they would buy it. And so let's get you in front of there. And so by having that breakout, we're able to serve the most people. And also keep in mind, bookstore buyers want that full trade discount. It's 40%. Libraries, of course, they appreciate a discount, but they're not as stringent on that discount. They're happy oftentimes with 10, 20% discount, which gives you so many more options. So we are working again on that to see how many people we can get out there. And I'm very, very excited. I think it's going to be a wonderful update in our program. I think, everything has changed over the course of the last 2 years. And so why wouldn't we change and update as well? We have to. That's part of marketing. No matter what, the way that we marketed 2 years ago has changed. And so we need to make sure that we do that too. And so we are in that process. And again, very, very excited. And to get that kind of exposure so quickly, that's also the thing, is we were having so many people saying, I want into this mailing. And I was like, oh, we just finished our quarterly mailing. We're not doing it for another 3 to 4 months. Now we have this opportunity of every month. For libraries. Bookstores will not be every month because we don't promo in December and towards the holidays, but to have the opportunity every month to get into a mailing, you can get in on your launch month. You can get in when you're ready, rather than having to wait a long time. And I think that will also, it'll really help people who are launching their books. I think it will be something that will be very beneficial. So If you have questions, email me, info@newshelves.com. If you want to be one of the first people to get notified when we officially make that live, again, info@newshelves.com. And bookstores, we will not be starting until about mid-January, but libraries will go for a couple weeks in December and then pick up in January, which is gosh, it's coming up soon. So if you want info on that, just email me and I will make sure you get on my list for that. All right. Sorry for that sidebar. All right, if you have any more questions, drop them in the Q&A. I think I've run through most of our normal questions. I have seen some questions come in about pitching to bookstores. I've had a couple of people say, hey, can I still pitch to bookstores for Christmas? No, I'm sorry, you missed that boat. If you want to pitch to bookstores for Christmas or a holiday book, you would be pitching, I'm back in August. August, maybe September would be the latest for anything holiday themed for a bookstore. Libraries, you can wiggle around a little bit more. However, they also plan in advance. So I think you kind of missed the boat for any Christmas books if you haven't done your promotion yet. If you have a holiday book, however, now is the time to get your ads on for Facebook and for Amazon. Now is the time to promote those all the way through Christmas. So make sure that if you are thinking about holiday ads, now is the time to start those because people are ordering now. People are worried about not getting things in time. So I'm seeing a lot of people do their holiday shopping early, especially for paperback or hardcover books. Ebooks, of course, will sell a little bit longer because, you know, you'll have the people who are like, oh, I'd love to read a Christmas romance on Christmas Eve. So I'm just going to get that and cuddle up. So we'll see those go out a little bit longer, but for your paperbacks, your hardcover, get those ads out now. And oh, that's awesome. Shira is saying that 30% off at the Strand Books, strandbooks.com, which is the Strand bookstore, which is one of our indies. So yes, look at your indie bookstores and keep in mind tomorrow is Small Business Saturday. So your indie bookstores are most likely going to do a big promotion, not just today for Black Friday, but tomorrow for Small Business Saturday. It's very big. Where I live, our indie bookstore does a big, I think they're actually even doing a signing this year, but they do a big event. They do discounts and all of that. So it's a really great time, not just to look for online sales, but to look at your local sales, whether it's an indie bookstore or a small antique store or a gift shop, those types of things. Keep in mind that these people, when you're asking them to stock your book later, they will remember if you shop there. So if you shop local, if you support local, they in turn will be more likely to support you and stock your book when the time comes. Not saying that's why we do it, not saying only go buy local if they might stock your book, but it is something to kind of keep in mind that when you support local, local supports you. So as we do all of our holiday shopping, let's keep that in mind that Amazon is, of course, wonderful. And we get a lot of our book sales that way, but we also want to make sure that we support our indies and local people as well. All right. Well, guys, I've kind of gone through the questions that I have. If you guys have questions, let me know. We do have some time, but if not, hey, it's a holiday, so we can hop off early if no one has questions or anything to chat about. If you have, again, if you have questions, drop them in the Q&A. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything in the chat. I have chat FOMO. What are the best 3 ways to build a mailing list? I'm so glad you asked, Randy. Let me just hop on my soapbox here. Mailing lists, as you guys know, because I have hopped on the soapbox before, mailing lists are one of the top promotional tools that I think are underutilized and every author should be working towards. If you are an author or you plan to Write a book. I don't care if you have a book out yet. If you're writing a book, if you're waiting for publication, you should be building your mailing list. It is never too early to start. And it's not enough simply to have a mailing list. It's not enough to have a website with a pop-up list that says, hey, join my mailing list, because people are going, why would I join your mailing list? We want something for our emails. It's like collateral. So the best ways, in my opinion, is number one, you need a really good giveaway, not the first chapter of your book. No one wants that. Well, maybe some people do, but not many. So not the first chapter of your book, not something that we can get everywhere else, something exclusive for your newsletter and your mailing list. What kind of giveaway can you do? If you do nonfiction, can you do like a tip sheet that they can get? Is there a video course that they can exclusively get through your mailing list? Is there, what can you give them of value? If you're an author, a great way to build your mailing list is actually, I recommend too, if you're a current author and you have a series, I recommend that you write a little side story, an offshoot of your series that is a little cameo. Maybe it's side characters at Christmas, or maybe it is kind of a prequel, something that they can only get from your mailing list and for signing up. And then that link should go in the back of every single one of your ebooks so that they can click and they can go, because they're already invested in your characters and in your series. If you write, but you don't have a series, that's okay. Can you write a book or a short story that is in the same genre? Hey, if you love this book, be sure to go grab this free short story, and you tell them what it's about. What I love about those kind of standalones that don't have to do with the series, but the standalone or a prequel would work as well if it is for a series. You can promote those on BookFunnel, and you can do newsletter swaps and promos. And you can also promote those directly on ads, Facebook ads. Download a free novel from Walt Musil. You can download this prequel, download this free book. That is a great way to get people in. Maybe it's an audiobook if you have audiobook rights. Maybe it's a video course. Again, it's something of value though. And when it stands alone, you can promote it multiple places, but they have to sign up for your mailing list to get it. If it's something that's tied into your story, like you have to kind of know the characters, then it typically works well inside the back of your book. It's your back matter. So that is number one, get a really good giveaway. Number two, you gotta promote it. It's not enough to be like, I've got a good giveaway. You've got to promote it. It should be a pop-up on your website. It should be in the back matter of your book. It should be something that you put up on social media as kind of a pull-out ad. You can do BookFunnel swaps. You can do other author swaps. If you've been to a conference lately, or you've made some great connections with authors who write in your genre, can you work with them for a newsletter swap? Hey, I'd love to feature you in my newsletter. Do you have a giveaway or anything that we could put in there to get people onto your newsletter? And would you consider doing the same for me? Genius, because readers want lots of books and lots of authors. When you promote another author, you are not losing readers. You're gaining an industry friend. You are gaining their readers who are also looking for more books to read. Avid readers like books. I know that sounds so silly, but it's true. They like books and they're always looking for more authors. And if you can help them find those authors that write like you will become their favorite, because it is someone that they can go to find recommendations. And they're still going to read your books. They're not going to be like, yeah, no, I've kind of like met my quota for the year. I know it's only January 7th, but I've read 7 books, so I'm done. That's not how avid readers work. They're going to keep reading. So newsletter swaps can be a great idea. Let's see. Yes, David, it takes time to build a newsletter. It does take time to settle on a format and frequency. And this is the question I get all the time. Okay, you want me to build my newsletter list? Great. I don't have anything to say to these people, and I don't want to email them every week. don't. Please do not email your newsletter list every week if you have nothing to say. If you do, great. New Shelves has a newsletter that goes out every week. Why? Because it's industry news that's kind of collated from different places, and there's always something happening in the industry. So we do it weekly because we have something to say. But if you don't save your newsletter for when you have promos or things, or a monthly newsletter, a quarterly newsletter. It doesn't matter. You do get better open rates when you kind of have a frequency. If people know to expect a newsletter from you every week or every month or every quarter, you're going to get better open rates if they kind of know what to expect from you. But you don't have to email them all the time, and don't email them just to email them. Have something to say, have something to promote, have something to talk about. And if you don't, well, then maybe don't send that newsletter. The important part is that you start gathering your contacts so that when you do have something to say, you have people to tell it to. David, you can also include a cute picture of your kitten or puppy in your newsletter every now and then. It brings in that human element. Absolutely. I always love when authors have kind of a personal update or pup date, or you know, Cat's Corner. Those things, people love these things, or funny things like the end of New Shelves, our newsletter. At the end of every newsletter, the last link that I include is always something funny or, in my opinion, interesting. So it may be something that is like a list of the spookiest author houses, or I don't know, we've done all sorts of things, but it's either funny, maybe it's a viral video, maybe it's a list of like books that are turning into movies, something, but it's always something funny or interesting at the very end. And people click on it. I look at my click rates. People click on that because why? Because it's kind of fun. And so having kind of your signature that you sneak into all of your newsletters is fun. Maybe you do a life update. And if you're a nonfiction author, you're telling people about what you're doing, where you're going. People want to interact with humans. So when you give them humanity, when you give them something to follow along and cheer for, you know, you give them a puppy to look at. We like that. Don't just sell us. Let us be your friend. And that is what makes, in my opinion, a successful newsletter. Thank you, Pat. I'm glad you like your newsletter. Sometimes I get frustrated. I'm like, I'm done with the newsletter, but we do have a lot of people email. And every time it goes out, we get, you know, great feedback saying, you know, I look for this newsletter. We do have a lot of loyal followers and openers, so I hope that it is beneficial. Let's see. You have a name that is hard to spell. Is it better not to use your name when naming your website? That's a great question. That may be a wise choice. I think it's up to you, but then you need to kind of go with your overall branding. You want your website to follow your branding. So if you are branding yourself with your name, then you kind of need it there. So I know you have a name that's hard to pronounce because I butcher it every time. I'm so sorry. But you may do, I know that you've got a nickname. Maybe you brand yourself all by your nickname. Maybe you do it with Trina M. Author or whatever it is. It's more important that you follow your brand. And I will say that, yes, when you have a really difficult name to spell, unless you've got huge CEO going out on a Google, it's going to be hard to find you. So that's something to consider when you're creating your website URL. Yes, Eileen has a regular column in her monthly newsletter called The Cat's Corner, and it's written by her cat. It's so cute. And it has nothing to do with her historical fiction, but whenever she hears back from readers, they always mention it being their favorite part of the newsletter. Quirky is totally in. Oops. I'm trying to like do the chat and I see questions coming in and I'm trying to multitask and failing miserably. All right, so those are my opinions on newsletters and how to build them. I think that you definitely have to You definitely have to start somewhere and start soon, and you have to promote it. You have to get it out there, and you have to give away something of value. It is not enough to ask people to sign up for updates. You've got to give them something of value. And we had a question asking for all the newsletter sites that I recommend. I am going to drop a link. There is a article on the New Shelf's website that is When BookBub Doesn't Bite, and it's got a bunch of options of other places to promote your book. So I'm going to drop that in the chat. Anyone else watching the replay can catch it. Just newshelf.com/blog and search BookBub. You'll find it. But to go over those again, Walt, Book Doggy, Book Cave, The Fussy Librarian, Bargain Booksy, Just Kindle Books, the ebook reader cafe is one. There are a lot of them, but those are a couple just off the top of my head that you can use and look into. I think they're great. Oops. Hitting weird buttons. When is the next cocktail hour? Great question, Denise. I'm going to need a minute. Maybe soon. Maybe we'll have a Christmas party. That could be fun. Right now, my family is, they have the plague. They do not have COVID, but they do have stomach viruses. So right now, I just want to sleep, to be honest. So probably not this week or next week, but maybe we'll do one for Christmas. I'll poll in the group and see what we can come up with, because they are fun. What are the 3 best ways to reach Amazon #1 bestseller? Here's my soapbox. I'm just gonna put it back up here. Amazon bestseller is great. It's fun. It's great to see that orange banner, but I want to tell you guys, Amazon bestseller is not everything. I have an author who has never once reached Amazon bestseller, yet he sells, well, between Kindle Unlimited and his paperbacks and his ebooks, he sells tons of copies of his books. He has, I mean, he has reached a point where he is getting some days 10,000 Kindle page reads a day with sales and things like that. And that's not a promotion day, that's just a day. So he's doing very well. He has never once hit Amazon bestseller, not once, not with any of his books. Here's the thing, not all categories do well for Amazon. Some of them are very densely populated, some of those categories. He in particular is in historical fiction and kind of family sagas and things like that. So I will say that if you want to hit the Amazon bestseller list, do your category optimization. I think that's just smart, because whether or not you hit a bestseller list or #1 on a bestseller list, category optimization helps you get to the right readers. It helps your algorithms, and it helps train Amazon to show your book more. So I do think category optimization is key, and you need to do that. You need to dive in and see what categories your book can shine in. However, it's very important that you do not try to scam the system. When you optimize your categories, you need to stick in categories that actually apply to your book. Please, for the love of all that's holy, do not put your book in like romantic ghost suspense stories. If it is a children's book that talks about, you know, a young boy and the dog he loves, let's not. Let's have integrity while we're optimizing, but optimize. If you have a mystery, well, maybe instead of just being in mysteries, you could be in cozy culinary mysteries. Is your book cozy? Does it have culinary aspects? A lot of cozy mysteries do. If you are in poetry, well, rather than just poetry, what about limericks and humor? What about getting into Irish poetry, or I think there's like Russian poetry? There are options. So I think that you can optimize, and you should optimize, and that's one of the best ways. The other ways to hit the Amazon bestseller list is discount and promote. Discount your book and then promote it. Do a book bub, or apply for a book bub deal, or discount and promote on some of the newsletters that we just talked about, because it is the point of pushing sales at a single time and raising it. I do recommend that if you're trying to hit a bestseller list of any kind, well, no, honestly, Amazon, because Amazon does it by the hour. They update by the hour. Bigger lists like USA Today goes for a week. But if you are trying to hit the Amazon bestseller list, I recommend that you line up all your promotion on the same day. You want all of these people talking about your book on the same day, so the sales all happen on the same day. You do not want to kind of stagger out your sales, because that means sales will come in on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, which is fantastic. Yay for sales. But if you're trying to hit a bestseller list like Amazon, or even like Nook, Barnes and Noble Nook list, something like that, you want to drive all of those sales in the same day, because Amazon updates hourly. Nook is not hourly, but several times throughout the same day. So driving traffic in a very concentrated time is what I recommend for that. And then promote it. If you have a list, there are a lot of people who've hit bestseller lists by doing those book promotions. They discount. Let's say you have a book and you're like, hey, it's launch day. I'm going to email my 1,000 newsletter subscribers, because I've been working on that. So I'm going to email my 1,000 newsletter subscribers that my book is out today. And for one day only, first day launch, it's 99 cents on ebook. I'm also going to sign that same book up for promotions at the Fussy Librarian and Bargain Booksy and all those places. And then you drive all the traffic at one time. There's a good chance that you're going to hit Amazon #1 bestseller. So discount, promote, optimize. I said that backwards. Optimize, discount, promote, and make sure that it's not kind of no, maybe I'll promote here, I'll promote there. You really have to plan ahead and make sure that you've got everything in sync, so that you're driving people there all at the same time. And that is what I would do if I was trying to get on an Amazon bestseller. And the best way to get on my soapbox, well, it's my soapbox, so sorry, Randy, you're out of luck. But my soapbox comes out often, but it's all out of love. So you know me. At least I admit it, right? At least I admit it. How do you do category optimization? Let's try that again. How do you do category optimization? Great question, Linda. The way to do category optimization is by #1, finding your comps, finding the people who write stories like yours. Once you do that, go to their books, use those comps. You can either use software like Publisher Rocket has category research, where you can type in a comp or an ASIN, and then they will spit out the categories that those books are in, and you can kind of research that way. I use a program called Push Button Publishing for my category optimization. It's a program I love from Jay Boyer. And that program allows me to kind of research categories. Let me see if I can show you. And we'll share. I have all the programs. Along with all the organizations like Ally and IBPA, I also have software FOMO, so I have them all. All right, so there are a couple ways. You can just do your own research. This is effective, but it takes a long time. Let us be honest. So if I know that the best comp for mine is Jodi Picoult, let's say, and I know that my upcoming book is exactly like A Spark of Light. It's got the same themes, same things. Then I would look up her book. And what I do is you go to either paperback or Kindle. Different categories. Not all categories are in ebook and paperback. Sometimes it's just one or the other. And you go here, and then we check out the categories. We're going to scroll on down. here. And we see, all right, well, she is in literary sagas, mystery thrillers and suspense literary fiction, and women's sagas. Those are still, honestly, kind of still big categories. So I could do those and say, okay, I want to do this. Let's just say I want to be in literary sagas. Then what I have to do is I have to find the path of how to get into literary sagas, because that is what you will need to email over to Amazon through either Author Central or through KDP. So I would need to tell Amazon, I would like to update my category. I would like to add literary sagas because I've researched and I know it's a good category and it's niche and optimized. I think that we could get more niche, but that's not the point here. So then I would have to tell them the path, and the path is all of these things. These are your path. So I would have to say, here, let me see if I can kind of type it in the bar over here. This is what I would do. And that's also a cool little trick, is if you want the path and you don't want to like type it all out, if you copy and paste it into the bar here, it makes it linear, which makes it easier. So I'm going to say the path is Kindle ebooks, literature and fiction, literary fiction sagas, because you can see literary and fiction, literary fiction, literary fiction sagas. So I have to give them each step through here. It's a pain in the tushy, but we still have to do it. So literature and fiction, I can't talk. Then literary fiction, and then sagas. This is my path right here. It is each step in each category and how to get there. And that is the path that you're looking for. And you have to have that for every category that you ask Amazon to put you in. So you find your category and then you find the path. Yes, and so there are programs, thank you, Pat. There are programs that allow you to find that path easily or to find the comps. One is Booklink, which is bklnk.com. So there's booklink.com, and that's one of your options where you put in your ASINs and then you kind of get the information out. It spits back the categories. And then you can use the categories for your book. You can use Publisher Rocket, which has a program for that. Excuse me. Then I have push button publishing, and why I like push button publishing is because obviously I do a lot of optimization. And so if I am trying to find a book, so let's take Hello Rest of My Life. So if I'm taking this book by Rick Lenz, Hello Rest of My Life, on sale for 99 cents. If I were to take this book, I can go down and I can say, oh, okay, it's in time travel romance. That's a really good option for me. I can go to time travel romance, and then they have this cool plugin right here. You can see up here, I've got this little plugin thingy. I have this plugin and I can hit the research button. And when I do that and I allow permission, I hope you can see this because this pop up. But anyway, when I give it permission, it then starts pulling the categories for every book on this bestseller list. So it tells me all of the time travel romance comps and the other categories that they're in, which can help me find some categories I may not have even thought of. And it pulls a lot of them at once. It takes maybe 5 minutes to pull all those categories, and then it gives me the path and everything. So if you do a lot of optimization, this is a really great tool. It is not super cheap. It's a couple $100. So if you just have one title, probably not worth it. But if you're doing a bunch of books, it is a great option that you can certainly use. So I see questions and I see comments and I can't see anything yet. So give me a second. Tara says her favorite is Publisher Rocket. Publisher Rocket is a great tool. I love it for many reasons, including keywords, optimization, all the things. Eileen says, when I check my stats and categories on Amazon, I often find my books listed in categories that have nothing to do with my books. For example, it will show up in World War II fiction. My books are set in the 19th century. I did not put them into the category. I have no idea how they ended up there. Well, what happens sometimes is, remember, Amazon's mostly run by bots and algorithms and certain things like that. So sometimes you end up in the categories because the bots put you there and you don't belong there. You can email through the contact page on KDP or Author Central. You can message Amazon and you can ask for a list of the categories your book is in. So you can see all the categories your book is currently in, and you can see which ones you maybe want to ask them to remove and the ones that you want to add. So you can kind of see what they're already in and make decisions on what you want your books to be in. You can have up to 10 categories on your book. So it's really nice to see. Maybe you only have 3 categories on your book. Maybe you have 10, but they don't fit well. Then you can email back and say, hey, I would like to take off World War II fiction, but I would like to add 19th century literary fiction or whatever it may be. So that way you can do that. Let's see. Yes. If we are wide, can we lower the price on Amazon for a limited time and then bump it back up? You can. On any sales platform, you can lower it down. Typically, you want to lower it on all platforms at the same time. But yeah, you can run a promo on, if it's very limited, if it's like a day, you could do it on Amazon for like a day and bump it back up. You have all the options. You just have to go into that platform to change your price. So, yep. Oh yeah, no, you have to manually change your price on KDP regardless. Unless you're running a Kindle Countdown deal or a free promo on Amazon, which are both scheduled in the promotions tab. If you are just discounting your book, you have to manually go in and do it for KDP. Draft to digital, you can schedule a promotion, but KDP, you've got to manually do it. All right, you guys, it is 11 o'clock. It's 11 o'clock and I think we answered all our questions. So I will start a tab in our Facebook group where we put in any awesome Black Friday deals that we see. So I will put that up there. Feel free, if you're discounting your book for Black Friday or for the holidays, feel free to throw that up in there as well. You can join us. It's just on Facebook and it's Free Advice Fridays for publishers and authors. Feel free to join us there. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next week, same time, same place, 10 a.m. Eastern on Fridays. See you then.